Hello, my name is Don Peace. I'm the president of the United School Employees of Pasco. On Monday, May 2nd, the SRP and instructional bargaining teams reached tentative agreements. All SRPs and all instructional employees will have the opportunity to vote on their individual contracts coming up on May 18th. Today, I'd like to share some information with you regarding the agreements and the negotiation process. First, let me address the timing of all this. We realize it's not ideal that we're dealing with all of this at the end of the school year. USEP did not hold up bargaining as stated at a school board meeting, and quite possibly at work sites as well. Earlier in the year, in November in fact, the district made it clear that they wanted to wait until they had certain information regarding the third calculation of state funding before negotiating salary improvements. To be clear, we did agree to wait for this info because through growth in the district, we thought this would benefit us with additional dollars to negotiate for salaries. However, there ended up being two problems. First, the state took months longer than normal to provide the information to districts. Second, once we did receive the information, it actually showed that Pasco County School District would be receiving much less state funding than previously projected. This was primarily due to losing millions of dollars of state funding to charter schools and private schools through their voucher programs. The district made their first economic proposal on March 31st, 2022. They stated there was no recurring dollars for raises. Instead, they offered 4% supplements to all employees. Based on feedback from our members, our USEP bargaining teams passed counter proposals that focused on raises instead of one-time supplements. Throughout the process, our bargaining teams worked very hard to gather feedback from members of the bargaining units, members of USEP, and our building reps. The district maintained their position that there was no money for recurring raises for the 21-22 school year other than small increases from the state-required teacher salary increase allocation. They continue to offer only 4% one-time supplements. By May 2nd, through our negotiating efforts, we were able to make improvements to the economic proposals. We agreed to language that both parties will come to the bargaining table for the 22-23 school year immediately after ratification of this contract to negotiate raises for 22-23. On the instructional side, we negotiated for the 22-23 TSIA to be paid to all instructional employees starting on day one of next school year. This pot of money from the state is equal to 2.69% of the total instructional payroll. So for these employees, they will get the 4% supplement now and a guaranteed raise to start the school year next year, and we will still be negotiating further raises for next year. On the SRP side, we negotiated for supplements to include certain minimums so that our lowest paid employees could still receive a meaningful supplement. It was agreed that once the budget was signed by the governor, all employees will receive a minimum pay rate of $15 per hour by or before October 1st, 2022. We agreed to work to negotiate further raises above and beyond the $15 minimum. We also agreed to bargain the effective dates and retroactivity of all salary improvements. At this time, I'd like to go a little deeper into each economic proposal. Let's take a look at the SRP tentative agreement. You can see the dollar figures on the left column. I'm not going to read those for you, but I just want to highlight some of the big things. The 4% supplement for all SRP employees, and there was minimum guarantees for those lower paid employees to make sure that they got a meaningful supplement. Transportation is being paid for their whole year straight time to compensate for the difference in route selections for first and second semester. And then I want to remind people that all SRP got a $1,000 COVID retention supplement that USEP negotiated back in October. So this is important to note. You can see the other figures there that the district is still going to pick up the FRS contribution, the fingerprints, and maintain the employee health care benefit that we currently have. The total economic improvement for all SRP amounts to about 12.4% of the SRP payroll. Other noted SRP language, Article 11, salary and SRP welfare. We did negotiate new language regarding the W-2 forms. If you do not opt out, you will receive a paper version of your W-2 by January 31st. That's something that we've been working on for a couple of years. Also agreed upon the targeted attendance incentive program for drivers and assistants. Again, the COVID retention bonus. And then the transportation mid-year tier change. We negotiated that so that we can protect seniority in that process. There were also some other re-signed memorandums of understanding. Included in that are last year's and this year's summer food service program, because we are ratifying so late in the year. That is a summary of the SRP tentative agreement. Let's move now into instructional. For all instructional employees, they will receive a supplement equal to 4% of their base salary. Also, all instructional got the $1,000 COVID retention supplements, either from the state or the $1,000 that was negotiated by USEP with the district to cover all of those that were not covered by the state. And just a reminder that while that does not count as base salary, it does count towards the FRS. Teacher salary increase allocation for 21-22 amounted to moving the base salary from $44,820 to $45,200. That came from the 80% that was required. The additional 20% will provide minimal salary increases for all other employees above the minimum base salary. The TSIA for 22-23, which amounts to approximately $7 million, will be paid out in the form of a raise starting at the beginning of the 22-23 school year. And as stated before, we will immediately go back to bargaining to find other funds available for additional raises for the 22-23 school year. Here you can see the additional economic considerations, the fingerprints, the increase to FRS, the health contribution to maintain the free to the employee health benefit. And then also they agreed to continue to pay the 0.2 or the $5,500 a year for providing additional instruction. There were 5 new MOUs signed this year. The first was James Marlowe and Centennial Elementary to STEAM schools. The Reading Endorsement Certification Supplement, which provides additional monies to certain situations. The COVID Retention Supplement, training participation, a new rate for that, and the COVID-related health and safety guidelines. This slide shows some re-signed or slightly modified existing MOUs. These are the ones that we have typically done year after year. There's no real big changes here. So this does provide an overview of the instructional tentative agreement. If you have further questions, please contact your building rep or call the USEP office. Thank you for participating in this overview.